Hi, you're listening to Scribble Talk Teaching, a podcast for business-winning professionals. My name is Baachu, Chief Exec and founder of Baachu Scribble, the #1 APMP ATO in planet Earth. Here is our APMP Foundation Certification Bites. Happy learning. Welcome to Unit 1, Business Development Lifecycle. This chapter or a unit sets the tone for the rest of your proposal specialist certification program. And this particular chapter again details the high-level overview of how the end-to-end business development lifecycle works. So before I start, I think it's important for you to go back to your organization and understand how your company structures its end-to-end business development lifecycle. The governance, the process, how do they approach the bids? If they don't have one, this particular chapter at least will help you to structure a process for your own organization. So let's look at what a business development process is. A business development lifecycle in general starts with what we call a sales and business development function. So what is the function does? What do the function do? The function, the core aim of the function is the ability to generate the revenue, that sustain the business of your organization. What do we mean by that? The ability to continuously generate revenue and the ability to continue to hold the revenue that you already generated so that the organization exists as foreseeable future. So what are the key phases for a business development lifecycle? APMP Foundation Guide tells us there are 8 different phases. As I mentioned, go and have a look in your company. How do they structure phases? In my company, Baachu, we have what we call circular growth model, where we have 4 phases: strategy, pipeline, bid and win, mobilize and operate. So 4 stages. So in your case, what are the key stages? So here, let's go back to the first particular phase, market identification. What do you do here? In market identification is where you make a clear decision of what markets you want to play with and how you can penetrate in the market. So you risk assess the market, understand the key players in the market, understand the spend in the market, understand how much of the services are outsourced, then you decide to penetrate into the market. So the key tool many companies use is a risk assessment tool. In your company, what tool do you use? So phase 2, account planning and positioning. So account planning and positioning. Now you know the market that you're going to play. As it mentioned, how much spend is there for you to attract to. So that's a small segment called account positioning. This is where you try to measure the current activity or the current sort of projects that might be coming out of this market and the future pipeline that this particular market will also kind of generate. If you have a CRM or a kind of like Salesforce or MS Dynamics or any other simple tool, this is where you try to understand, here we go, these are the list of opportunities that might come in this particular thing, so that this is the timeline of when it's going to come and how we can approach it, right? So number 3, opportunity assessment. This is where you enter into the real bidding phase. You understood your market. Now you are looking into your kind of have a market scanning, and you also found out what sort of accounts or opportunities are available. Now you're going deeper inside this particular opportunity. This is where you make a clear preliminary bid, no bid decision to just understand, okay, now we are in this market. Now we know this is the core outsourcing spend, and does this opportunity could help us to penetrate in this market. Number 4, opportunity planning. If you do decide to go for this bid, then your opportunity planning kicks in. This is where you start to use what we call 4 C's: the customer, the competitor, your own company, and what we call costs. So how do you manage these 4 elements is what's going to enable you to win or lose this bid. So you know your company strategy, hopefully, because you have done the scanning. What are the competitors available in the market? What are the customers available in the market? How does these all 3 work together? And that is the affordable cost that you need to go in to win this particular bid. So now you decided to go for this opportunity, and you have decided to bid this opportunity, and you even have a high level, what we call a capture strategy for this opportunity. The next step is proposal planning. This is where you're going to slowly start to invest on your proposal team. You're going to come out with a proposal plan. You might have received an RFP, or you at least know a PIN has been released. So you know this is going to come and hit you. So this is where you frame up your team, approach your proposal plan, and you started to get ready into getting closer of positioning your solution to the customer. Number 5, proposal development. This is where your hands get dirty. This is where you will start to actually write response to this particular client. You would have received an RFP document, and you would have received all the questions. In that, you would have started to strip those questions and start to understand how much of the content do I need? Do I already have? How much of the content do I need to go for? Do I have all the capability myself? Do I need to partner with somebody? What sort of right envelope, pricing envelope do I need to go for? You will start to pull all those things in your proposal development. You will start to monitor progress and track your proposal pretty closely. Once you are in the proposal development, gradually you will progress from being one of the bidders to come closer all the way to maybe down selected to 8, 4, 2, until you become what we call a preferred bidder. That's where the negotiation happens. So here you have what we call negotiation and propose and post submittal activity. You have submitted a bid, and now you have been shortlisted. Your negotiations begin. This is where you will try to optimize your solution, work with the client on a dialogue basis, and firm up your final offer with the client. Finally, you deliver the solution and keep the relationship. This is where you will, now you go to tender, how you can continuously retain the tender. Your regular customer contact, the dialogues, the demos, the social media, and your account planning all comes together. 8 different phases. How does your company approach? Let's do a quick recap. Market identification, account planning and positioning, opportunity assessment, opportunity planning, proposal development, negotiations and post-submittal activity, deliver ongoing customer relationships, right? So let's summarize. Scale and tailor your business development process based on your market and your competitive positioning. Not all companies need all 8. Not all companies have to. Plan it, scale it, structure it accordingly. Clearly define the roles and responsibilities of people underneath your business development lifecycle. Once you kind of decide a bit for it, secure a leadership buy-in and start to build the team around it. This is where you'll then start to bid, no bid your decisions, and you enhance your customer relationship accordingly. So that ends business development lifecycle, which is the first chapter that sets the scene for our unit 2, which is more about the customer. So let's get deeper into that next. For now, unit 1 is complete. I'll see you in the next chapter. Welcome to unit 2, chapter 1, compliance and responsiveness. Yes, we'll be touching compliance matrix in detail in unit 3, but this is a very short chapter but very important chapter because this will set the scene for the rest of unit 2. So let's go on. What is compliance? Compliance is the very minimum you need to achieve to pass this tender. A compliant matrix is nothing but you answer all the customer's questions and address all the specifications that's been given to you in your tender document. That's it. If you don't achieve that, you have no chance of winning the document. Responsiveness. Responsiveness is going beyond addressing the customer's needs, but it also addresses the issues, the customer hot buttons, and the values of what you do in the tender document. So what's more important? Is it compliance or responsiveness? Obviously, compliance is the first steps towards winning your proposal, and responsiveness, if it's solid, will ensure you win the tender, right? So compliance and responsiveness. Let's look at some of the tools that you can use in ensuring that you have compliance. It's compliance matrix. It's one of the tools that you can use. What is a compliance matrix does? It's nothing but it's a list of all your customers' requirement. You take your customers' requirement, split the sections. It depends on the complexity of the project. Split the sections into number of sections. Spreadsheet. We'll go deeper on it in Unit 3. If you're using a spreadsheet, split it up. These are the questions. These are the sub-questions that you need to answer. Who is going to do, when they're going to do. It just adds it. The compliance matrix needs to be updated frequently as and when the compliance clarifications comes in, and also when your proposal changes. Response matrix is a mini version of a compliance matrix. Response matrix is something that enables your evaluator to just identify, here we go, this is the big tender document that I'm submitting. Having said that, these are the sections that you could find my responses. It's enabling your evaluators to find the answers in the sections that you have written. Okay, so that's compliance matrix and response matrix. So what is an executive summary? An executive summary is nothing but an overview of your offer. It's a highlights of the key selling points that your proposal is going to cover. Clearly, it's short, clearly it's punchy, and we'll touch executive summary in this unit in the upcoming chapters. So compliance matrix, responsive matrix. Then let's go into another critical element of your important thing, which is called customer focus. What is a customer focus? Customer focus, as the name points, is nothing but demonstrating your understanding of the customer's vision. You can use all the buzzwords like hot buttons, storyboarding, executive summary. We already touched it. It's just you are weaving all the themes around your solution and putting it in a format in the proposal. That's your customer focus. Yes. So what's a summary? A summary, compliance, responsiveness, both go hand in hand. Both are part of a winning proposal. What's more important than the other? It's a very wrong question. Both are pretty critical. Number 2, you prepare your compliance matrix for every single bid. If possible, attach your response matrix to every submission, enabling your evaluator to find the responses. Finally, ensure your customer focus is clearly there throughout the proposal. Yes, your hot buttons, your theme statements, storyboards, whatever you're doing it, ensure the customer focus is clear. Right? So that's it. Chapter 1 of Unit 2. We will be getting deeper and deeper in the upcoming chapters. For now, that's it. Chapter 1, Unit 2, Compliance and Responsiveness. See you in Chapter 2. Welcome back. Unit 2, Chapter 2, Customer Analysis and Competitive Intelligence. Loosely, some of this element doesn't even happen at the proposal stage. If you do it during the proposal stage, you have 0% chance of winning a bid. This particular activity happens in advance of your proposal kind of activity. So customer intelligence and competitive intelligence. Let's look at some of the best practices. First of all, understand the importance of having customer analysis and competitive intelligence as a function or as an important activity in your role. So remember, every single proposal when it comes to the market is shaped by a competitor. Yes, they even say if it's already an outsourced opportunity, then the customer has already have an experience of an incumbent, which means your chances of taking that opportunity away from that incumbent, the current provider, is actually like 20-30%, right? Your starting position is only 20-30%. Having an understanding of the customer, are they going to come out in the same way? Is the competitor really doing well in this contract, or is it the first time this tender is going to come out? Even then, remember the problem of the customer. Somebody would have shaped that opportunity. Having an understanding of the importance of somebody would have shaped this opportunity. If it's a renewal opportunity, how much do we know about this customer and how is the current incumbent performing in this contract? If we don't know this, and if you go blindly straight into the RFP, believe me, you have no chance of winning this opportunity. So this activity happens, as it mentions, much in advance of your RFP, and it even dictates your pricing strategy. Understanding of your competitor position, your customer's position, will enable you to come out with your own pricing strategy, right? So number 2, foster information among all members of your organization. Where do you think you can get information about the customer and the competitive intelligence? Yes, I understand you do need to do a lot of research and analytical work, but the core source of your intelligence lies in your own organization. Your colleagues, people who would have worked for your competitors but now working for you, worked for a similar organization, or worked for even the customer is now being part of you. Having an understanding of your colleagues, it's not just the sales colleagues, your HR colleagues, your finance colleagues, your risk colleagues, health and safety, procurement, IT, you name it. Intelligence is right there in your organization. How can you extract this formally, informally? It entirely depends on what robust culture you have in your organization. Do you have some sort of networking events? Do you know who you need to get to? Most of the time, most of the answers lie in your organization, and we go and search elsewhere. Please do find it in your organization. The expertise always lies squarely within your organization. So number 3, then leverage public sources. Then leverage public sources for your customer analysis and also for customer intelligence. Look at their websites and look at what they post in social media. When do they publish their strategy reports? What sort of acquisitions do they make? Who they partnered in the past? Does this competitor already work with this customer? Are they having any revenue issues? What's their profit margins? Which sort of geography do they operate? All this information will help you. These are available in the public domain. Exactly the same thing for a customer analysis. Who are the decision makers in those companies? What sort of background do they have? What sort of finance situation your customer has in public sector? They do project their projections, and they do say we need to save X percentage this year, and we're looking into this sort of things. What sort of social responsibility channels that they're looking at? All these things are available in your public available information. All you need to do is scroll and get it all together, then use this as an insight for your own proposals and pricing strategy. Subscribe. How many subscriptions do you have? Do you have subscriptions to some of the what we call investor analysis kind of a thing, all the way from there to Companies House in UK or similar registration bodies of when these guys publish their finance reports? All these things are critical. Industry bodies, trade conferences. How many kind of subscriptions do we do? We specialize as a company in capture, in addition to proposal management, which means we subscribe to over 40-50 sources depending on the markets, which means we are able to collect those information. As an organization, not necessarily you might have the right skills. If you do have your marketing function, how much insights can they help you in generating this, right? So look at use. One of the interesting tools that APMP recommends that many of the companies use is what we call bidders comparative matrix. What is it? List all the capabilities on one side. right? List all the capabilities on one side that the customer is looking for. You are there as one of the provider, and also put other providers, company A, company B, and say, hey, you know what? Do we tick all those boxes? Does the company A tick all those boxes? Company B tick all those boxes? If we have a capability gap, who can we partner with? It clearly gives you a view of your strengths and weaknesses against your competition. That becomes your competitive positioning. Yes, use tools like BCM. There is an example in the Word document, and there is even an Excel spreadsheet that you can use. You can download it and you can use part of this particular chapter. So, 4 key elements. Understand the importance of customer analysis and customer intelligence, competitive intelligence, right? It's so critical for you to just go and see where do you stand in the market. Number 2, foster information within your organizations. Your source of intelligence lies squarely within your organization. Then look for publicly available information. Use tools like BCM, Bidders Comparative Matrix, to get understanding of your positioning. So what are the general pitfalls? What are the general pitfalls? Number 1, you just think, oh my God, getting intelligence, is it a covert activity? Is it a secrecy kind of thing? No, it's an ethical activity if you do formally. The last thing you want to do is, bribes and this and that. You know what? Those, I hope it doesn't exist, but please refrain from any sort of unethical activities. Look for available information, extend to your colleagues and somebody whom you know. You're not far off LinkedIn, social media. You will get enough insights and information. Or another pitfall, people say, you know what, I don't have anything. I can't find anything. Again, this is the another side of going. You will definitely find enough insights. It's entirely up to you to put that effort to get that information. In summary, customer analysis and competitive intelligence, yes, it does include a lot of research and analysis, but please do remember, some of the intelligence stay within your own team. Accept it's an ethical activity, and most importantly, use tools like Bidder Comparative Matrix much in advance so that you could understand your competitive position. That finishes Unit 2, Chapter 2, Customer Analysis and Competitive Positioning. Yes. Thank you. I'll see you in the next chapter. Welcome back. We are now at Unit 2, Chapter 3, Executive Summaries. This is by far the most important chapter in this unit, and it's more practically used than any other chapters in pretty much in this whole certification, really. So what is your experience of an executive summary? So before we get into the best practices of how we build an executive summary, let's try to understand what an executive summary is. Number 1, an executive summary is nothing but a concise, informational, persuasive piece. Concise, informational, persuasive piece to convince the customer that your offer is by far the superior one compared to your competitors. So yes, this is where 3 pages, 4 pages, 5 pages, whatever the number, you build your entire solution that you're going to write for this particular customer inside one summary. By far the most critical document for you in the proposal. So what are the benefits? Why do we need to have an executive summary? An executive summary clearly demonstrates your understanding of the customer, as well as the explicit way of how you are going to deliver this project. You understand their needs, you understand their hot buttons, and most importantly, you understand why this is the right solution to solve their problem, right? So let's move into some of the best practices of executive summary. Number 1, your executive summary should be customer focused. Basic but important. Time and time again, people use executive summary just to write about their own features, their own benefits, and making it so generic. So keep it customer focused. It needs to be motivated by the customer, and it should include the hot buttons. Some of the key questions that you could ask yourself on: do we know the problem that we are solving? Do we know why we believe that's the problem for the customer? Do we know what results we need to achieve to solve this problem? Do we know what outcomes we will be measured against? Do we know what sort of solutions we need to put forward to achieve those outcomes? Do you know what results of those solutions that we need to achieve? So all these things come into picture, and most importantly, the pricing aspects as well, all around customer focus. So next step, what sets you from others? You clearly document what sets you from others. Provide a roadmap of this is where you are now, this is where you will be, this is the journey we'll be going to together, and this is our implementation, this is how things are going to work. So write clearly what sets you from others. This is where your competitive intelligence and your understanding of your customer comes into play, right? Moving on into the next one, how can you make a positive impression? This is where your unique selling points, the way you are discriminating your competitor, is coming into picture. How can we use graphics? How can we avoid this high level generic pieces that we use to have a critical impression? Remember, if your executive summary is done well, that could very well ensure that people kind of scan through their proposal documents. Remember, or execs read less. And this is predominantly for the decision makers, and your proposal document more or less is for the procurement professionals, the people who just go line by line and to score you 8, 9, 10. Get things right, make a positive impression. Avoid making any jargons in your proposal. We will touch that separately. Most importantly, why do we need, the next important point is write and review it early. Why do we need to do that? When do we think we need to write it? It's highly recommended you have like a high level executive summary just before your kickoff. Use it as a descriptive tool to brief your proposal team. Having it handy helps you to avoid rework of your proposal. It could very well be costly. The early you capture the solution, early you capture your high level win themes, the better for you to fine tune it later. It also gives you a review to the customer, not to the customer, but at this stage, your own senior management team, who could say, okay, is this what we're trying to do? Is it being tested somewhere? Have we used it before? Are we trying something new? What are the innovative stuff that we are doing, right? Use it as early as possible. Number 4, responsiveness and compliance. What do we mean by responsiveness? Responsiveness is nothing but tailoring your executive summary to the needs of the customer, making it unique to them. Time and time again, I've already said, people just use the same draft for pretty much everybody, just changing the name of the customer. If somebody likes a template, they pretty much use it for everything. What is compliance? Compliance is nothing but ensuring that we do show compliance, that we do write the requirements, solve the solutions based on the requirement. We are compliant, at the same time you're responsive. Number 6, keep it consistent. Keep it consistent. Why do we need to keep it consistent? Keeping it consistent, having an engaging title, following similar pattern of key actions in headline, informative headings, then the solution that goes with it, then subsections trying to give more insights about what your headline solution goes through, and keeping your graphics and other elements consistent ensures that it's more easy for the reader to read it through, and it's also most easy for the reviewers to read it and understand your principles. So let's go and see what are the typical pitfalls. As I mentioned, avoid jargon and try not to use any irrelevant information. Please don't use any generic stuff. Do your best to make it as specific as possible to the client, right? So let's have a quick recap. In summary, start early. Have it as early as possible. Plan before you write. Don't just write just what you know. Plan before. Collect as much information as possible. Use it before you kick off to brief your team. Use it clear with style. Be clear with how you're going to have the layout, the design, the templates, the headlines, etc. Most importantly, ensure you demonstrate the unique value of your solution that's going to help you to win the solution and not the competitor. Executive summary, by far the most important chapter in this unit. Strongly recommend you to read the accompanying Word document that goes with it and see how you use it in real time. How do you currently structure executive summary? Is there anything that you can pick here that you could try in your bid straight away? So that's it from me, Unit 3 in Chapter 2, and I'll see you soon. Thank you. Welcome back. It's Unit 2, Chapter 4, Strategy and Win Themes. Yes, we are moving into the strategic part of your proposal. So what is exactly an opportunity? An opportunity is nothing but your strategy coupled with your win theme. How effectively you're converting an opportunity depends on your win themes. Your win themes, what differentiates you from a competitor, and the strategy that underpins your win theme. So let's go a little bit deeper on what is a proposal strategy statement. It's nothing but how you can verbalize your win strategy. Your effective way of communicating your win strategy is proposal strategy statements. It also helps everybody to understand how the bid will succeed, how you can sell to others. These are the key factors. These are the key points that differentiates us from the competition so that we will definitely win. Or we have more chances of winning, let's put that way. So opportunity planning is another key part of your win strategy, where you plan for the specific opportunity. You come back, distill the solution into what are the key components, what are the key proposal elements, and what are the pricing elements, what are the legal elements. You just put everything together as one in an opportunity planning. So what is the goal for you in this overall win strategy and also theme building? Is nothing but how you can become the preferred bidder. Yes, the preferred bidder for this particular opportunity that you're going for. So some of the best practices that we can follow, or a very, 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 very important point is, don't wait too far. Don't wait for the tender document to actually fall on your table. Have your opportunity strategy and your win theme ready, very ready, please, before if your proposal document lands in. There are so many tools that you can use. Some of the tools like SWOT analysis, some of the tools that you can use like BCM, your bidder comparison matrix, for example, can be used. So there are so many tools, but please to plan it much in advance of your proposal document. Number 2, what is your killer opportunity strategy? This is nothing but identifying your killer strategy with a lot of options, then refining it, and then following litmus test principles. Put some tests on it to just see why your solution or why your strategy will help you succeed. Yes. Number 3, focus your strategy and win themes. How you can focus it? Once you have the strategy, conduct reviews. What sort of reviews can you conduct? You could conduct your reviews based on your opportunity planning. You can conduct your reviews based on your customer feedback. Then you could conduct your reviews also based on competitive intelligence that you have. What is the customer feedback? This is the customer feedback that he might have provided, he or she, I'm just calling it in person, your customer provided feedback in the past, or your customer provided feedback based on why they are considering this solution. All these things will be publicly available. Review those information, come out with a killer strategy. Number 4, build your stories. Your story in the proposals built around your strategies. You identify your proposal theme statements, identify, edit, ghost your competitors as many times as possible. Provided you know them well, the more you ghost, the better. Let's look at what are the other proposal covers and graphics and other key creative elements that you could put forward so that your solution touches different segments of the audience, and it also touches different styles. Your overall design should ensure that the overall offer is captured in a more succinct and clear manner. How can you then effectively transition your strategy and your win themes from your opportunity plan into a proposal plan, from your high-level big sky thinking into your proposal planning, where you could write nitty-gritty proof points and related elements to ensure you have the details behind it. So you map your strategy and your win themes appropriately, specifically, to ensure that you are able to negotiate with the client on your stepping points. That includes your pricing strategy as well. So some of the key elements we touched already: develop your strategies in advance, ensure it's killer, refine it to ensure you're absolutely spot on with your strategy. Once you get it, focus it, have some graphics, present it in a unique manner so that the customer understands your strategy in a much better way. Ensure you transition your strategy from your high-level opportunity planning into your proper detailed proposal practice and your plan. So that ends with strategy and your win themes. It's a very high-level topic, but it'll set the scene for the upcoming chapters. So I'll see you in the next chapter in Unit 5. Thank you. Welcome back. We are in Unit 2, Chapter 5, Value Proposition. This is a very important chapter, so I strongly suggest you to read the accompanying Word document to learn more about value propositions. That's right. So what is a value proposition? A value proposition is nothing but the value of what you are selling compared to others. So what is the real thing that differentiates you from the others? So you use customer specific statements that you can really quantify and describe in a tangible and with intangible measures. So this is value proposition. So let's go a little bit deeper into value proposition and certain elements around it. Number 1, when you write a value proposition, ensure you emphasize clients' benefits clearly. The value of what you're selling compared to other options. Again, the value of what you're selling compared to other options needs to be clearly defined. So these are the customer specific statements that I mentioned that could be quantifiable and that could describe in a most tangible way. Next one, what we call is the unique selling point, or nothing but your unique winning themes. Involve your customer in developing and taking your value proposition, because you might have a solution that you believe is the right answer, but having a dialogue with the customer, fine-tune with the customer, and ensure your unique selling points are still valid across your proposal cycle. Number 3, use effective price to win methods. Effective price to win methods, because every single price dictates these days cheapest price wins. So the value versus price is always a question. From your experience, have the customer ever benchmarked a value, a quality against a cheapest price solution? So it's a very tricky point. It's always the other one. You get the cheapest price, then they want to have the best solution on top of it. And strike a balance, but ensure the value that you're offering is right there. Number 4, quantify the payback. This is very critical. Your return of investments. Your return of investments, the proof points of how you can convince the customer that this is the solution that they're waiting for. This is the solution that they need to go for. Number 5, make it visual. Obviously, your value proposition as visual as possible. Use pictures. The picture should not only talk logics, but ensure your value proposition also touches emotional parts of your offer. Number 5, we already touched. Number 6, ensure you not only touch the emotional part, but structure your value proposition in a logical way and refer best practices and use templates to structurally advise how your value proposition can clearly define your solution by far is the best solution that the customer can go for. Finally, focus on the right kind of impact. What are you actually selling? Is it strategic? Is it a financial benefit? Is it a tactical solution that solves it immediately? Or is it an operational stuff that's really going to change the way they are going to have their service delivery? Or your solution, does it touch political aspects of possible? Or is it a social element that it's going to solve? Ensure your value proposition not only touches one part, but it also enables the other. These days, social value, corporate social responsibility, inclusive economy, and all the words are really, really important. So ensure you cover all those things. Let's go quickly. Emphasize your client benefit. Number 2, find your unique selling points. Number 3, use effective price to win methods. Number 4, quantify your payback, your return of investments. Number 5, make it visual as much as possible, triggering emotions in addition to logic. Number 7, focus on the right kind of impact, strategic, social, economic, tactical, operational. You go with it. So that's very, very important chapter. I strongly suggest you read the accompanying Word document, and it's an interesting point. Go and review how many contracts that you actually have won by value and how many contracts are actually won by the price. It's a very tough environment these days. It's not just theory, but also apply in practice. I'll see you in Unit 6, chapter 6. See you then. Okay, let's go to the next chapter. Chapter 6, Proposal Theme Statement. This is one of the shortest chapters. There are 5 or 6 critical points which we can look into. So what is a proposal statement? It's nothing but a sentence or a topic or a paragraph that you take in your proposal document and you use it across consistently in your whole document. So how do you build a proposal theme statement? Number 1, before you actually build a proposal theme, create an outline. It should flow more or less from your strategy, your win themes, and your customer hot buttons and any other customer focus elements that you're going for. From then, you are splitting, coming out with the proposal flow, what we call a proposal theme statements. Consistently use it across. Number 2, ensure as a message it goes across consistently, not only from one place to the other, but it also linkage all the benefits in one place, so that customer is psychologically fine-tuned into listening or reading the same message again and again and again. So that sort of section, a paragraph, a statement confirming your themes again and again always helps to create an impact, to ensure that the story resonates with writers, resonates with evaluators, and resonates with anybody looking at your proposals. So what are the key points in theme statements? Ensure you tie your benefits, your features, and any other stuff to your customer issues, and that becomes form of your theme statements. Number 2, build an outline for your proposal. Right, your theme statement is nothing but an overarching theme that your proposal writer needs to build upon. As I mentioned, ensure the focus is on the customer, not your organization. Always start with the customer. And the litmus test for you, the real litmus test for you here is, how does your theme statement stand when you apply your competitor's solution is the same in your solution? Your competitor cannot realistically make the same claim. Does your theme statement unique? Is it? If so, falls under the litmus test and see how far your solution can go for. Also remember, the evaluators could cut and paste it into their own evaluation to justify the high score that you might get, because you have used your customer's focus and you reiterated all the time. And if that fits into customers' evaluation criteria, guess who has more chance of winning this opportunity? It's going to be you. So theme statement is a very, very, very important one. I would like you to see how you actually apply that in your organization. Have a quick look at the Word document that accompanies with this video and see whether there is any other critical point that you could get from there. So I'll see you in chapter 7. Thank you. To our listeners, thank you for tuning in. Don't forget to subscribe, review, and share Scribble Talk podcast. If you like Scribble Talk Teaching, then I personally invite you to join Scribble Plus membership. Yes, as a Plus member, you'll get instant access to the proposal checklist, templates, trainings, workshops, and community you need to get bid and proposals done. That's 250 hours of business winning resources. Try Scribble Plus for free for 14 days at www.baachuscribble.com and be part of growing community of bid and proposal professionals on planet Earth.